Okay, hi again guys, just a quick update on the Hikmicro Alpex 4K scope. If you'd seen my video of it previously, first impressions etc, you'd know that I had a couple of problems with it. One big-ish problem, which was the zoom, where the zoom jumped from 3.5 to 7 after the update etc. So I had loads of comments on that video, and I have to thank everyone who sent comments on, especially the guys that sent the comments that sorted that out. Simple thing, you could say it was maybe user error, but apparently after you complete a download or an update, whatever, you have to manually hit the restore button on the scope, which I didn't know. Now you'd think they would build that into the update, or when you go to click on the update where it says do you want to update it, yes or no, etc, that sort of thing, you get a message saying make sure you hit the restore button on the scope afterwards or something. But anyway, fantastic comments. I had some really good comments. Thanks very much guys for that, especially ones that said try hit the restore button, or you need to hit the restore button for that to fully update or something. So I did that, and indeed, bang on, I was so happy. Straight after doing that, the zoom went from 3.5, 4.5, 5.5, 6.5, incrementally like that, exactly as it did. The multiple zoom, spot on, 3.5, 7, 14, 28, back to the continuous zoom, worked brilliant. I was chuffed with that. When you do hit the restore button, it did wipe all my ballistic calculator data and reset all your little options where you change them to what you want. That all got reset, but it didn't reset the 0, luckily, so that's really good. But make sure, like someone had in the comments, you hit the restore button and not the reset button. Make sure you do your research right, make sure I've got this right, because if you hit the reset button, I think that just resets everything back to factory. It's the restore button you need to do afterwards. Anyway, I did the restore function, and the zoom works brilliantly, just as advertised, if you like. Really happy with it. I've been out a couple of times shooting on the squirrels and so on. So here I was today at one of my usual squirrel feeders, and I'm 21 yards away from the feeder. Shot the first squirrel, no trouble, excellent. But then, looking through the scope, I thought, well, I don't need the ballistic calculator because when you got the ballistic calculator on, you've continuously got the aim point of the ballistic calculator, the additional reticle aim point, if you like, if you understand what I'm saying, on the screen. So I'm 21 yards from the feeder, okay? So it doesn't matter if I'm shooting at 30 yards or 20 yards, it's bang on the center crosshair. So I didn't want that additional messy crosshair on the scope. So I just popped straight back to my ballistic calculator, turned the ballistic calculator off, back through scope, perfect. That additional crosshair, if you like, aim point, disappeared. Nice, clean, fine reticle, perfect. Saw a pheasant come along, thought, oh, that'll make a nice little bit of video. I can see what a 4K's like on the pheasant. Looked here, zoomed in a bit. What the? It's jumped from 3.5 straight up to 7.5. I thought, no. Went back. Yeah. So now it's jumping from 3.5 to 7.5 again. I thought, oh, not the end of the world. I turned the ballistic calculator back on, so it's back. Turned the ballistic calculator back on, went to the zoom, 3.5 up to 7.5. Nah, didn't work. What the? I thought. So went down the menu, went into the zoom, turned on the multiple zoom, goes from 3.5, 7, 14, 28, perfect. Went back to the continuous, hoping it'll like reset. Nah, straight from 3.5 to 7.5. It's done it again. So thought, what I'll do, I'll turn the scope off, turn it back on. turn the scope back off, back on. No, whatever I do now, well, I'm now stuck with the zoom jumping from 3.5 to 7.5 again. From 7.5 onwards, as it was before, the same. And all I've done is switch my ballistic calculator off and back on, if you like, and it's screwed that zoom up again. So I'm thinking I'm gonna have to go home and hit the restore button again. I don't want to do it out in the field. You know, it's happened in the worst place possible, out in the field shooting, because I need to write down all my ballistic calculator data and everything like that, don't I? So I can re-enter it all and reset it. So I'm hoping I'm going to go home, hit the restore button, and it will go back to how it was. But there's another question. The comments were so good. The comments all about, I did email Hikmicro, some idiot, I shouldn't say some idiot, but all they did was send me back, have you got it set at the continuous and not the, it's like, I think we know more about these products, using them, etc., than they often do. You never know who you're going to get when you email someone. But anyway, like I say, comments were brilliant. All the comments, not just about that, about everything else, all were brilliant, but especially the ones that said, hit the restore button, it'll sort your problem out. Indeed it did. I'm hoping I'm going to go home and hit the restore button again, but what's going to happen if I switch my ballistic calculator off again? Will it bugger up again? Will the restore sort it out? I'll have to let you know. Perhaps I'll go home and try it, and I'll add the results of that onto the end of this email video, or perhaps you'll get another one to let you know what's happening on there. But yeah, that's the latest in the saga of the Hikmicro 4K Alpex. I do like the scope. It is a brilliant scope. There's no doubt it is a quality scope. But what I need to know, dare any of my subscribers or people watching this video who've done the update on this, dare you go and turn your laser rangefinder off, the ballistic calculator off I mean, and then go and see if your zoom is buggered up like mine. Because is it a faulty scope I've got? Does it happen on all of them? Who knows? But yeah, the scope itself is brilliant. I really like it. There's no doubting it is a really good bit of kit. Excellent bit of kit. I've now been using it for a few weeks. There's a couple of things I'd like to have been done different, or have been added to it, or whatever. One is a swings and roundabouts thing. You're either for it or against it. One is it's got built-in memory. Personally, I'd rather add an SD card, so when I get home I can just pull the SD card out, because this is an FAC. I've got to put this in the safe when I get home. All I want to do is when I get home, pull the SD card out, so I've got the SD card, and then I can download the footage, do what I want with it when I'm ready, blah blah blah, rather than physically having to plug the scope in. Of course, there's a downside to that, is if I forget to put the SD card back in and I go out shooting and want to record something, I'm buggered, aren't I? Yeah. So that's a very, you know, like I say, swings and roundabouts one. It's not the end of the world. It works perfectly fine. It's just awkward for me to download the video and so on. So that's nothing. Personally, I'd have just liked an SD card in it. The other thing I'd have really liked them to do is to have an option on the resolution and the frame rate. So it films in 4K at, I don't know what it is, 60 frames a second or something like that. I don't know what it is, but I know it films in 4K. I've got a one-leaf digital scope, a one-leaf NV400 Commander, I think it is. And that's got a lot, that films in 4K as well, but that's got an option to film in 1080p or 720p as well. But also, you can film in 4K, 1080p, at 120 frames per second or 60 frames per second. You know, you've got all these options. I wish they'd put an option in there so you can change it. You know, if you could film it 4K at 120 frames a second like you can on the one leaf, that'd be amazing. And if you could film at 1080p at 240 frames per second, because when I'm shooting like 21 yards like I am today, 1080p is fine at that distance, even if I zoom in a bit. And if I could get a really good high frame rate of slow motion, you could get really good slow motion from it. But that's just a couple of notes that I've found or thought about in the time I've been using it. But overall, the scope is a quality bit of scope. But it's just flawed with this software version at the moment, or whatever they're doing. So please, can everyone get on to Hikmicro or whatever and just keep asking the questions, because we need an update that's going to sort this out once and for all, because otherwise the scope's a really nice bit of kit. But at the moment it's back, jumping the zoom straight from 3.5 right the way up to 7.5, and then it goes continuous zoom, which isn't as advertised, if you know what I mean. So guys, the comments last time were so good. This is another impromptu video. You can see I've literally just finished the squirrel session. The scope's gone haywire again with that zoom, so I thought I'd just quickly do a video on it, put it out there. I'm going to go home, hit the restore button, see what happens. Let me know in the comments if this has happened to you, or if you know of any differences or things like that. So okay guys, thanks very much. Hopefully you'll get a bit of footage from the Alpex. I've shot a couple of squirrels today, I shot one last week. I've not had many numbers, so I'll try and stitch a few together and put a video out soon for you guys. So thanks very much. Give me a thumbs up, give me a like and subscribe, but most of all, please give me your comments about this and so on, where you do, in the bit below, and let's see what we can find out. Thanks then guys, cheers for now.